Welcome to another episode of On the Sofa with Sadie. Today Molly is here. He waving. Go on then, you go sit down. Yeah, and I'm Sadie. This is my sofa. Today we are going to speak about how do I find a photographer for my wedding? Where do I start? What am I looking for? Don't worry, Sadie's got your back. So, being the wedding photographer I'm going to talk a little bit about how do I find a wedding photographer. Super simple, super simple. My biggest tip for you is take your time. Honestly, wedding photography, I'm a bit biased because I'm a wedding photographer. Wedding photography is so super important for your wedding, and you want to make sure you have the right photographer that suits you. Biggest thing is that there are so many wedding photographers out there, which is glorious because you can find someone that you really kind of gel with their personality, you really love their style, and you kind of envision them as a part of your wedding. So where'd you start? Well, there's loads of stuff obviously on the internet, social media, word of mouth, recommendations from your other wedding suppliers, etc, etc. So, when I say take your time, I mean take your time. Like, wedding photography is so important. It's so important that you find a photographer that your heart just kind of tells you, yeah, they're the one. And you just got to take your time. Like, look at as many photographers as you can. Really dedicate their time just to look through their styles, kind of read up a little bit about them, have a chat with them, and just see like if your kind of personalities click. Why it's so important to take your time and kind of really kind of not research. I don't like the word research photographers. It's more kind of getting to know photographers. It's because on your wedding day, like that's such a super special day for you, and you want someone there that kind of feels like your friend and that you trust them 110%. Like, you love who they are as a person and you totally click with them and you think like, yeah, like we're gonna have a really great connection here. Because on your wedding day, they will just completely blend in and they will be kind of there for you every single part of the day. So that's why it's so important. To me, in my business, connection is one of my biggest things, and all of my clients know this. Like, I like to have a really super connection with my clients because it builds a relationship between you. It builds trust. It kind of, the passion as a photographer myself that I hold, it kind of, the passion then kind of, what would you say, kind of creeps out to them as well, and then you all share the same passion. I don't know if I'm making much sense at the moment, but I think I am. I do tend to digress, so I do apologise if I kind of go off on a whim. So yeah, but it's just so important when you're looking for a photographer to take your time and just make sure that that photographer that you just feel you can envision at your wedding, you can feel that you'd have a really great connection with them, and that they're passionate about what they do. They kind of, you love the style of the photography that they are offering, and that you can kind of vision yourself in those pictures. When you look at those photographers' images, you're kind of like, yeah, you know, when you're scrolling down and stuff like that, you're like, yeah, like, I love that. Like, I can envision that in my wedding. And yeah, I think that the most important thing that my helpful tip that I'd like to give you is to really take your time and just chat to as many photographers as you can, because it is so important that you find someone that you click with. That's not a horrid photography pun, but I don't know to say that anyway. But that you really connect with, because it's just so important. And honestly, if you find a photographer that you connect with and you know is super passionate, because they'll be passionate about your day, that on your wedding day, it'll just feel like you have a friend there. And yeah, take your time. Research, hate that word, gross. Yeah, take your time in looking to your photographers, and you will find the right one, because your heart will tell you that you found the right one. Trust me.